Bring in the homie, Jason Jones. If the Ricky Starts Giffer is my nemesis on social media, perhaps Jason Jones is your nemesis on social media. Jason Jones minding his own business last night, just trying to watch the Los Angeles Lakers, and Kenny's got to jump in with some take about the 49ers.
I was bothering no one.
See how he behaves. See how he does that? No, we're not going to do that because on Sunday, I was just talking about how, hey, NFL Sundays without the 49ers, it's kind of mid, just facing facts. Talking to nobody, just nobody directed, no ats. All of a sudden, the professor hops in there talking about nobody wants to see anybody putting up 10 points.
Just saying. I mean, nobody watching football on Sunday going, you know what I missed? That 11-10 game last week.
We put up 10 points last night?
No.
Oh.
Y'all own the Rams in the regular season.
Oh, okay.
That's Detroit, Stafford, and everything. You know, I have nothing to say about that. I'm just saying, no, when you got Tom Brady playing Patrick Mahomes that night, no one is going, you know what we really need? We really need Jimmy Garoppolo and Matt Stafford. No one said that.
Hey, man, I'm just telling you what it is, man. NFL Sundays without the Niners, kind of mid. We'll see what happens this Sunday with the Raiders not playing. Maybe it's just as mid. I don't know. I'm just telling you when the Niners aren't playing, it is. Maybe it's just as boring when the Raiders aren't playing. I don't know.
No, you don't even like Jimmy. Now you're talking about it's mid when he's not playing.
No, I do like Jimmy. I just don't have any faith in Jimmy. There's a difference.
Oh, okay.
You have faith in Derek Carr?
I don't have faith in Josh McDaniels.
Oh, okay.
I have more faith in Derek Carr than I do in Josh McDaniels. I mean, what was up that onside kick? What was that about? Like, Denver's been struggling on offense all year. What do? Let's put him at midfield just for the hell of it. It's like he's playing a game of Madden. He's like, this'll get him. This'll get him. I mean, your defense is not great. Their offense has been struggling. So you're going to put your struggling defense at midfield. Then one long pass during field goal range.
But, Jason, like I said a couple weeks ago, for everybody that thinks I'm a Raider hater, which is just false, I pointed it out last week when they were 0-3 and everybody was talking about how the playoffs are done. No, when 2 teams make the playoffs. No, I said, look, all you need to do is make sure you don't go 0-4. Get this one against Denver. Yeah, you got a tough one against KC. Luckily for you guys, you're getting paid handsomely to go there. But after that, once you collect your 400,000, you get, maybe you get,
just like they're not professionals.
Maybe you can get back on the good foot. And look, by week 7 or 8, with 7 teams that make the playoffs, if you can get to 3-4 or 4-4, whatever the case may be, season's far from over.
Oh, I didn't think it was over. I was hoping maybe Tom Brady would do me a solid. I'm like, if everyone's 2-2 and you're 1-3, you're right there. But of course, Tom didn't help me out this time. But I was not on the jump ship. The season's over with the first pick the Raiders select. There's just every game Josh McDaniels makes me go, what are you doing? Like just not. I understand being a risk. It's not even logical. Sometimes I'm like, why? Right. Like, even if you're in the camp of Derek Carr can't be trusted, why are you just throwing the ball when you can run sometime? They get turnovers. He's like, you know what I'm gonna do? If I'm gonna drop back 7 steps, like Josh Jacobs. I mean, you finally got Josh healthy. He was hurt for like a year and a half. It felt like run him, especially you got a shaky offensive line. Why would you expose them by letting them drop back and letting whoever's rushing the passer hit Derek 10 times a game?
It's not over for the Rams. In all seriousness, I think they got a lot of talent on that team.
I mean,
I'm worried about the secondary, but I think they got pass rushers. Obviously, they got things on the offensive end. There's a lot of talent on that team.
I'm worried about Abram covering anyone. I would like Chandler Jones to show up at some point and like touch a quarterback, but they got it. I mean, it's not over. I mean, it's never over this early. Usually, I always tell people the reason why those stats about 0-2, 0-3. Usually, those teams are just really bad teams anyway. So even if they were 3-0, they were going to end up 5-11, or I guess now 5-12. I'm like, those stats just tell you that bad teams normally don't make the playoffs.
Well, those stats should be weighted differently too now because there's an extra game. So 0-2 doesn't mean what it used to because there's a whole other game here to be played. I have bigger concerns with the Raiders with the fact that they're stepping in to take on Kansas City on Monday. Like that's a far greater concern than what they've done. And I don't know that there's a better team in football right now than the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, and they still call Mahomes dad. So I mean, so proven otherwise. I mean,
a lot of people. He got a lot of kids out there.
He's
out there, boy. He got him.
That game was a couple of years ago where they went out there and beat him, but that's like where Max like broke out and was like unblockable.
That was 1-1.
Yeah. So I'm thinking, if they can, get a pass rush, maybe get a turnover or two. I mean, it's not a game where they can't win. Just because the way the NFL is, the talent gap is really close for the most part. Even if it comes down to coaching, and then you got, do I trust Josh McDaniels against Andy Reid? Probably not, but hey, take my chances.
Let's get to what you were trying to do. Again, Jason Jones, the professor, just minding in his own business last night, trying to watch Kings and Lakers before he's accosted by Kenny.
The varsity game is on. Nobody was.
Varsity game was on.
I had Monday Night Raw, that and the preseason game going on. I mean, I knew the Niners and Rams were playing. It wasn't like it was a secret.
Wasn't all that interesting.
Even though I do need that shirt. I need my name above it because I've been accused of being a heel. So
you are a natural born heel.
What do I do?
That's why.
He's the bad guy who pretends like he's not bad. Like, why are you booing me? I'm an Olympic gold medalist. What are you booing me for? I'm gonna.
Yeah, I mean, what did I ever do? What did I ever do? Then we hate you. Okay, I guess it's not my fault. I tell you the truth.
You elicit a reaction, and that's all that matters. Jason Jones.
That's all you really want.
Silence.
That's all you really want. No, good or bad, you need a reaction.
What was your reaction to the Kings last night as you were attempting to watch basketball last night? What was your reaction to that Kings-Lakers game?
No, I mean, I pretty much watched the first half because in the second half it's kind of like, but what jumped out to me about the Kings is that part of it is who they were playing. That the Lakers are a big team. They still look really small. And I wonder how that's going to affect them defensively over the course of the season. I mean, the Lakers are kind of an anomaly because, if they're going to start Damian and AD together, they're going, but I just was like, wow, they look really small still.
Yeah.
And that's one of the areas that's going to be a problem. Sabonis is a good big, but he's not, he's not this big, like 7'1" type center. So I just wonder if defensively they'll have problems just because against the better teams, do they have enough size? But I mean, I like the fact that De'Aaron was aggressive. I think they can't win this season at all if De'Aaron's passive. So yeah, to me, the numbers didn't mean as much as just the way they played. And De'Aaron was aggressive. And to me, that's going to be the key to them all year. If De'Aaron's aggressive, they got it. They're going to have a chance most nights if he's playing aggressively.
Yeah. Did you see anything? Because it's been talked about a lot with Mike Brown coming in and the way they have played defense the last few years. Did you see anything early on different about this team defensively at all, or was it just too early to tell? Really,
it was still early, but they still look bad. I mean, that first quarter. I mean, they were just letting Russ was just like, bye. Let me get to the rim real quick. So I mean. And that's what I mean. You can scheme all you want. At some point, the guys you have to do something, or you got to get different guys. So I just wonder if they have enough just defensively. I mean, are we going to have another year of, hey, Harrison, how many guys can you guard? Because I think it's not a knock to say that Sabonis is not known for being a great defender. I mean, I don't think either one of their options at 2 guard right now is known for shutting anyone down. And De'Aaron can be when he wants to be. And it's kind of been hit or miss with De'Aaron on that end. So I mean, I'm not going to throw a whole lot into the first preseason game. Guys are still learning things, figuring things out. But at some point, we got to see, we've talked about scheme. As a couple of coaches have always told me, there's only so many schemes you can run. You can have whatever your preferred philosophy is, but at some point you got to have guys who can do it. So I want to see just kind of just in terms of the lineups, how do they decide to go with the 4? What do they do there? I mean, there's going to be a lot to be decided before you know exactly what they're going to be defensively, but I'm not going to, hit the panic button because they had a rough 8 minutes to start a preseason game.
But the biggest surprise, and James Ham mentioned this earlier, we've really been talking about it throughout the day, is how much Keegan Murray played at the 3. We've been so conditioned to Keegan Murray is the 4, but he played a lot of 3 with that second unit, and that's where he got a lot of those points that he got. I think he was 7 of 11 on the day. Yeah. He got a lot of those at the 3 spot, and it's like, man, we really conditioned ourselves that and I don't remember if Keegan was the birth of the 4-3-3-4 in the way we talk about guys where we put the primary number first and then the secondary number second. But it felt like with Keegan, it was always 4-3, and we saw a lot of him playing 3 last night.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it is that we're, I think if you're looking at if they're going to play those, say Keegan and Harrison together, I don't know if it even matters what you call them. I just call them the forwards because even with KZ out there, that's another 6'8" guy. Right. That's not like a 4. So, I mean, I just don't think in terms of that position, they don't have outside of Mezzi, you don't have a lengthy defensive type guy out there. And to me, that's what they really need next to Sabonis. Unless you're going to, I don't think you're going to play Rashawn next to Sabonis. And even then, Rashawn is still a smaller guy on the smaller end of bigs. He's still in that 6'8", 6'9" range. Right. So I just think the way I'm looking at them, they're going to have 2 forwards. I don't know if it really matters what you call them, because I can see whoever the tougher matchup is defensively, that's who Harrison will be on, whether he's a bigger guy or a smaller. If it's a dynamic, if you're playing, I don't know, say a Brooklyn and they go with a Simmons, Durant, you're going to put Harrison on Durant, and if it's Keegan, you're going to put him on Ben Simmons. It's just you're going to ask Harrison to guard the more, the bigger threat of the front court players.
Right. Harrison, Casey, Keegan and Harrison did play together along with Davion, Sabonis, and Fox for about a minute and some change.
Yeah, it was like a little.
Yeah, before the Rashawn and the rest of the unit came in, the rest of the second unit came in.
Yeah, I think it's going to be. We're going to see Mike doing a lot of what the other coaches have done for 15, 16 years, searching. Can you find that right mix defensively, just to give them a chance, because they're going to be able to score. They got plenty of guys who can score. I mean, and it's just going to be a matter of who can defend. And the way I look at them right now, 2 of their better defensive options are both on the smaller end, Davion and Terrence. That doesn't help you against LeBron. That doesn't help you against a KD. Help you against a guy like a Steph, or a smaller guy. But Harrison's going to need some help at some point, and it's not fair to ask a rookie, as good as Keegan has been thus far, to ask a rookie defensively to be that guy is asking a lot.
Yeah, I agree. There's been some discussion about the roster and the depth that's on the roster. And obviously, when you talk about you taking it to the highest of the highs, like the Warriors, I don't think they have depth like that coming off the bench. But just your average run-of-the-mill NBA team this year, I think when you talk about Malik Monk, when you potentially talk about Keegan Murray or Rashawn Holmes, Davion Mitchell, I think they got some depth to this Kings roster. Do you agree, or do you look at it as it's not as good as maybe Kings fans are thinking right now?
I think it's better than what they've had. I mean, you're not in a situation where you're going, I've got 5 or 6.5 rotation players. Where You're going, okay, here's my 5, here's my bench guy, and then I'm just kind of going pulling straws every night. I think you have a legit, you can go legit 8-9 man rotation. Now, if the debate is that rotation as good as a Warriors or a Clippers or a Phoenix or whatever going on in Phoenix, that might change. But if you're talking about that, they're not up there. No, but I mean, I think if you're bringing just say if you use last night, if you're bringing Keegan Murray, Rashawn Holmes, Davion Mitchell, and Malik Monk off the bench, that's not bad. A couple of years ago, at least 2 of those guys are starters. So to me, that's not a bad thing. It's just, it's relative to, where you're trying to be in the West and everything. And no, you can't get caught up in, well, are they as deep as the Clippers? No. But this is better than what they've had. So you've got at least a fighting chance to, make something happen with, in that the lower half or the bottom half of the West, so to speak. Not the bottom, but that 8 to 10 range. You got a chance now. And before, it was a matter of if you sat 1 or 2 guys down, it was like we're in for a long one. And even whenever they had long stretches of success, and when I say long, I mean 7-10 games. Those are usually stretches where, say, a Luke Walton was playing his starters way too many minutes to cover up for those gaps. Right. Where, normally you would, maybe sit De'Aaron at the 8-minute mark. You're playing De'Aaron till the 10-minute mark to say, to steal a couple of minutes, so you don't have to go with, say, 7 minutes of Corey Joseph. You go to 7 to 5. So they were trying to mix and match, but every coach would tell you that's only sustainable for so long. To me, that's the reason why you see at the end of the year, a couple of years ago, Harrison Barnes kind of getting hurt. And he would never say it publicly, but the talk privately was Harrison's just breaking down because we've run him into the ground all year. And I think now you're in a situation where maybe you can get a more of a normal rotation where you're not asking guys. You can get from 30 to 34 instead of 34 to 38. I mean, my God, how many minutes did Buddy Hield play in the last few years where people said there's no reason Buddy should be playing that many minutes?
All of them.
Yeah.
Literally all of them. There's no reason he should be playing any of these minutes.
It's a shot.
And then the question becomes, well, who do you play? So now you can slide. So I think the depth will help them over the course of a year, because I don't think you worry about De'Aaron, playing too many minutes and all that, because now you can slot guys a little differently.
Mm-hmm. Oh, speaking of, is Lakers any better in that regard? Is this team still feels slim, and you're going to be relying heavily on LeBron, Anthony Davis, and probably Russell Westbrook?
I still say if they at least get a healthy season out of those guys, they'll make the playoffs. I mean, it's, to me, I know it's fashionable to make fun of how they were last year, but we can't pretend like AD didn't miss most of the season and LeBron didn't miss like 35 games. Mm-hmm. I mean, that, would they have been a good team still? No. It was clear. It was clear that Russell Westbrook was not a fan of Frank Vogel. It was quite clear. And like I said, they were my least favorite Laker team of all time, just because they played like they didn't give a damn. And that's why I was like, they should have just went ahead and put Frank out of his misery and fired him in like December or January. Those guys didn't care. And once they realized they weren't going to be like a title contender, they really packed it in. So I think they'll be better because they'll at least care. And if they have some health, I think they'll be in the playoffs. And then it comes, if you're them, it comes down to, can you beat LeBron? Assuming that LeBron doesn't, tail off a lot this year and that AD's healthy, can you beat those 2 guys 4 times? And I think if you're going into a series, that's still going to be daunting, but they got to get there. I mean, I by no means watched the first quarter and popped any champagne last night saying, yeah, they're fixed. But I think having some energy guys like a Pat Bev is going to help them. I think just getting some guys who aren't 40 is going to help them too. Yeah. So I think they'll be better provided they're healthy, and then, Russ comes off the books, and then we can start the Kyrie watch in LA, which is really just like, God. I mean, damn. Kyrie does so many nice things, and then he goes and posts those dumb videos that he shares. It's just like
Kyrie West. Yeah,
it's crazy.
I don't know what to make of him sometimes.
Yeah.
The professor, Jason
Well,
Jones.
real quick, while the professor is here,
Oh Lord,
you
leave this man alone.
No. Names are on the dotted line, so I guess we can let the people know.
Oh yeah,
the vibes are back. J Street Vibes officially back. Let me get some air horns for that one because the people they need to know. I've been waiting. J Street Vibes is back. My man Jason Jones, Kenny Caraway, coming to Odyssey Podcast Network near you.
We can argue about the Niners on the podcast. It won't be any Kings. It'll just be arguing about the Niners.
Yeah, and last time we talking about the Niners.
It'll be fun this time of year too because we got the playoffs at least for baseball. At least I got baseball playoffs. So
as long as Jason,
you got about 2 weeks, bro.
You're all doing like 9 episodes a week, right? Is that what Danny talked you into? Like 9 episodes a week. As long as Jason can drink on at least one of them, I
promise to do that. I promise to do that. If I got a sponsor, we got somebody's name behind it. I will drink I will drink that every episode if you want.
Hey, got to keep the client.
They talk about like Big E on, I think it was Long Kiss Goodnight, where they're like, yo, Tupac on now. Is that what the song is? Long Kiss Goodnight or
Long Kiss Goodnight?
Yeah. It's like, he just went crazy, but you'll never hear it because they never put it out.
They put enough out on that song where it was like, we knew he was talking
later around.
True. But the night the Dodgers won the World Series, there was Jason Jones had a biggie before Long Kiss Goodnight ran.
I was gone. I was
drinks. And
I was under the influence. I will not lie. I mean, I woke up the next day like, I hope I didn't say anything that's going to because I was on one and let them win this year. Oh yeah, it'll be even worse.
Oh man, that's great stuff. Well, happy to hear that the vibes are back. J Street vibes are back. Jason, we appreciate you, brother. Thanks as always.
Always. See you next week.